Join us again. Today I would like to talk about the amp/watt monitor that we now have available with Nomad PDU and also through our partners. The unit itself now allows you to look at the voltage, the current, the amperage, wattage, etc. that is being produced by a source. So something like a solar panel or an AC/DC charger or a DC/DC from your vehicle. And that way you know how much current is going into the unit and whether the loads are safe. It also gets you to understand how loads, etc. work. The load is typically the battery. The load is where the charged current is going. So on these here it says source and it says load. And what I've got here, and I actually put this in the wrong way and the unit just doesn't work, which is good because it's protecting. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect my AC/DC charger up to the unit and connect it to the source. So source goes to my AC/DC charger, it lights up, comes up with a screen saying watt amp monitor. It tells me that the source is providing 12.7 volt. There's no load on it yet, so it's not going anywhere. If I plug that into the regulated input of my Nomad, like so, you can see it's now charging. And what it does, it comes up and says 7.60 amp is the charge rate, it's an 8 amp charger. Because the unit's 11.4, it's only about mid-full, so it's going to take a full charge. 11.55 volt and 87.5 watt. So you've got 8 amp going in and 8 amp equals 87.3 watt. So you don't have to know all this technical jargon, etc. like an electrician. You can simply look at the ratings of things and go, well, how many watt or how many amp? We know that the amperage that the V5 can take is 25 amp maximum regulated charge. You're putting in 7.5, so you know that's absolutely fine. So what I could also do with this little monitor is now I know that that's what the charge rate of my AC/DC is. I could pull this out. And actually I've got one plugged in here. I can pull this out and connect this up to my FET controller and to a solar panel. So what I can do here is connect it to my Nomad and then connect it to an unregulated power source, which I'm going to do. So once I connect it up to the source, the screen will light up. Okay, now, comes up with watt meter. It tells me there's 20 volt, now 12, 17, 19, 18 volt going in. So I know the panel's around about 18 volt. So it's putting in 12.2 volt and 3.36 amp. The MPPT controller in the Nomad PDU is a maximum of 10 amp. So I've got a 100 watt panel, it's putting in 3.36, and I know the maximum rate on the panel, full sun, perfect conditions, is maybe 5.2. I've never seen it do anywhere near that. The best I've got is about 4.8. So I can actually use a Y lead, which is what I've got here, and I can connect 2 by 100 watt panels up, and I know I can still put that into the 10 amp MPPT controller. So that tells me that's the amount of current and amperage, etc. going in and wattage. I've got a inverter plugged in here to show there's 0.21 amp coming out, and I've also got the little blender plugged in, and if I push the button here it'll go about 2 or 3 amp, 2 amp. We know there's 3 amp going in and we know there was 2 amp coming out. The red light stayed on. Now, we've been over this before. What happens if that draw was higher than 3.36 amp? That light would go out. So if you had a fridge plugged in right now and it's only 3 amp going in and just fired up a brand new 40 litre fridge, that light's going to go off because the fridge is drawing more current than is actually being provided to the unit. So these little watt and amp monitors are so useful. Another reason you can use these is if you've got your car battery and you want to see how much amp's in it, you could connect up a red and black lead like this, and these typically come in inverter boxes. So I can connect it up here for example and see what actual current's out of my battery. So the battery now would be the source. I can plug it in like so, and I can see how much wattage and voltage is in the battery. It also means if you're running 2 batteries, one is the source and one is the load, and it's basically like water. It's going to flow from high to low, and you can see how much amperage is coming across the unit. So I could take a Nomad over there, for example, in the output. I could plug a direct cable if I wanted to with this in between, and you've probably seen it done on another podcast, and then I could charge this unit and see how much amperage is running down. Simple thing is 10 amp maximum on the MPPT or 25 amp max on the regulated input. So these are amp/watt monitors, 200 amp, take a maximum voltage of 60 watts, take a voltage of maximum of 60 volts and 200 amp or 130 amp. If you're going to start using those types of amp and voltage, you're going to need to change the Anderson plugs. The Andersons are all rated at 50 amp. So I wouldn't exceed 50 amp at any time across that, just to be safe and so the unit doesn't get hot. You can see there's around that are 130, 140 amp units, and they won't come with the Anderson, so you've got to connect them up yourself as well. So that's the amp watt monitor that are available from ourselves and also from the partners. It's a great tool to get for sort of 40 or 50 bucks to add to the Nomad PDU. If you're going to go to the expense of setting a full camp setup, you really want to know what your panels are doing. And also the simple thing is when you're setting up a solar panel, just ask yourself, we've been over this a number of times, does the solar panel have a regulator or not? If it does not have a regulator, okay, which that one doesn't, because it's from there, is now unregulated. That goes here and gets plugged in directly there. Now if it has one of these, it's now regulated. You put the load into the red Anderson. That's all you need to know. So it'll be simply marked on the MPPT controller or the controller you're using. The other thing is if you do have the option of lead acid, AGM and gel, and you don't have a life PO4 or LiPo, you don't have a lithium setting, just put it on gel, it's close to algorithm, and then just put it into the regulated input. The other thing you can do, take the regulator off and run it through the MPPT, and as long as the rating of the panel is not higher than the 10 amp. The reason being is that if you run a 400 watt panel into it and you put it unregulated, 400 watt panel is probably going to put out 25, 30 amp, and you're going to fry that. So just use, simple thing is, understand the loads that are going in. That's why these are so useful. They can plug them into anything. It means you don't have to use a multimeter. As an example, which a lot of people don't know how to use, just plug these in, and because you've got Andersons, it just makes it safe to use. There are quite extensive instructions in here. You can use them for your rotor control equipment, aeroplanes and so on, to put this in between the source and the load being the motor, and you can actually look at the amount of current, amperage and wattage is coming out of the battery into the, say, the brushless motor, and it shows you how to connect them all up in the instructions as they are here. So there's about 7 or 8 different types of display that are a rolling display, and you can leave these plugged in and you can constantly monitor and get to understand the charge rates of your sources. So solar panels, AC-DC, DC-DC. So if I had a DC-DC charger in my car and wanted to see how much the DC-DC is charging my battery at, I can see directly from this, just a simple quick look at it, and you can also see the amount of voltage going in. So look, it's a great little inexpensive tool that you can have that allows you to also assess any issues you might have between your source like a solar panel and the Nomad PDU. So that's the 200 amp hour high precision watt meter and power analyzer. Okay, it's available now